I bought a luxury car to impress strangers and drove past the bus stop where my father still waits. My name's Ryan Miller. I'm 28, a sales executive in Chicago, and on paper, I've made it. New apartment, expensive watch, the kind of car that makes people turn their heads at stoplights. But every time I look in the rearview mirror, I see my father's reflection, the man who taught me how to drive, sitting on that same old bus bench with a lunchbox in his hands. He used to drop me at school on his way to the factory. Every morning he'd say, "Remember, son, work hard so you don't end up like me." I thought he meant poor. Now I know he meant tired. Dad never owned a car. He rode the same city bus for 32 years. Rain, snow, heat, never late, never complaining. His hands were always cracked, his uniform faded, but his smile never was. And when I finally made it, when I got that big promotion, the company car, the sleek condo with skyline views, I didn't call him first. I posted it online, 1,000 likes. 0 calls to the man who built my foundation 1 overtime shift at a time. The day I drove that car home, I passed the old bus stop. He was there, lunchbox on his knee, head tilted like he was half asleep. For a moment, I almost honked, almost pulled over. But I didn't, because I was running late for a meeting, and because pride is louder than love until it's too late. That night, I got a text from Mom. "Your father says your new car looks nice. He saw you today." I stared at the screen for a long time before typing back, "Tell him I'll come by tomorrow." But tomorrow didn't wait. The next morning, I woke up to 15 missed calls from my mom. When I called back, her voice was shaking. "Ryan, your father collapsed at the bus stop. They're taking him to County General. I don't remember the drive, just the red lights I ran and the sound of my heartbeat drowning out everything else." When I got there, he was lying on a hospital bed, pale, oxygen mask covering half his face. His lunchbox sat on the chair beside him, still sealed. The doctor said it was a heart attack. Years of stress, exhaustion, and skipped checkups catching up all at once. He'd always brushed off hospitals. "Too expensive," he'd say. "I'm fine." Mom was sitting quietly, eyes red, holding his hand. "He kept saying your name," she whispered. I felt something inside me crumble. When he woke up, his voice was weak but steady. "Hey, champ," he said, forcing a smile. "You look good. That your fancy car outside?" I nodded, trying to smile back. "Yeah, Dad. It's mine." He chuckled softly. "Good. Always knew you'd make it further than me." I wanted to tell him the truth, that I hadn't made it further, just away. That the car wasn't success. It was distance, wrapped in leather seats and tinted windows. He squeezed my hand weakly. "You know, I used to imagine sitting in the passenger seat one day, just to see how it feels." My throat tightened. "You still will, Dad. I promise." But deep down, I knew promises don't stop clocks. A week later, he was gone. Heart failure in his sleep. No pain, they said. Just silence. The same silence I'd left him in at that bus stop. The funeral was simple, just the way he would have wanted. No long speeches, no fancy flowers, just a wooden coffin, the smell of rain on the grass, and the sound of people who finally remembered how good of a man he'd been. I stood there in my black suit, watching the soil cover the box that held the man who taught me everything, except how to live without him. Mom was quiet, her hands shaking as she placed his old bus pass on the casket. "He never wanted to waste a single ride," she whispered. That night, I couldn't sleep. The house felt hollow without his humming, without his cough echoing from the kitchen. I went to the garage and sat in my car, the same one I'd once bragged about online. The leather smelled of success, but all I could see was that empty seat beside me. I thought about all the times I'd driven past him, standing there in the cold, lunchbox in hand, waiting for that bus that never came fast enough. He'd wave when he saw me. I'd wave back and keep driving, telling myself I was too busy. Now, I'd give anything to see him at that stop again, even if it meant giving up every car, every paycheck, every title. Because that's the thing about success. It makes you believe you're running towards something until you realize you've been running away. I finally understood what he'd been doing all those years. He wasn't waiting for the bus. He was waiting for me. A week after the funeral, I went back to that same bus stop. The morning air was cold, the kind that bites at your lungs and reminds you you're still alive. The bench was old, rusted, one leg uneven. The same one Dad used to sit on, tapping his fingers against the metal bar as he waited. I parked my car a block away this time. No more speeding past, just silence, reflection. There was an old man sitting there, someone else's father, maybe someone else's hero. He looked at me, nodded, and said, "You waiting for the bus, son?" I smiled faintly. "No, sir. Just remembering someone who used to," he smiled back. "Good man, whoever he was. People don't remember enough these days." He was right. We don't. I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out Dad's old bus pass. Faded, torn at the edges. I'd kept it from the funeral. I placed it gently on the bench beside me, then whispered, "You're not waiting anymore, Dad." I finally stopped running the next morning. I sold the car, not because I couldn't afford it, but because I couldn't bear driving past that stop again. Now I walk, not fast, not to prove anything, just steady, like he did. And every time I pass that old stop, I smile. Because I know somewhere, in some quiet corner of the universe, he's still waiting for me. But this time, I'm on my way home.